audio's rolling and clapping. That echo every time. I don't think I heard that last time. I don't know if I just clap louder or what.
It's quiet down here.
Maybe.
It's too quiet.
I can fart again. Dude, that fart was nasty. I felt like that was me trying to give you warning during that.
Yeah, in the middle of the podcast. Here's your warning. Just wafted my direction.
Smell my finger.
Fucking asshole.
Oh.
Make that big boss less special. It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level. Second level. Second level gaming. Second level.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to episode 3 of Bargain Basement. My name is Keegan. I'm going to be your host on this lovely sales news, whatever Bargain Basement really is. How you doing today, Tom?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm a little tired, as you know.
Still slogging it.
Still slogging it. Bargain Basement, for those you don't know, is the best place to get your latest news, or the most pressing news, I guess, because we don't go through everything. There's a lot of news.
It's just like we're your buddies, man,
Yeah.
and it's not like we're obviously not professional like game
We try to be
people. We pretend
try.
really well, but
yeah. People believe us.
If you imagine going to work and going to the water cooler and seeing two handsome young fellows there, and you come up and you say, "Hey, what's new in the world of
Hey,
video
what's up,
games?"
Tony?
It's gonna sound a little like this. Plus, we're gonna try and save you some bucks.
Yes.
So there's that.
Which is actually where Bargain Basement, that concept came from. So first things first, as we start, as always, let's start with the news
Go for it.
for the week. So
What you
this
got?
is news for the week of, well, I guess technically the week previous, as you would say.
Yeah.
March 7th through 14th, because we are now March 14th. Colin leaves Kind of Funny.
He does.
So it was interesting.
First of all, in case they don't know,
yes, I was going to
explain Kind of Funny.
So Kind of Funny is very similar to what we do. They are Kind of Funny started out as former IGN guys saying, "Hey, we could do this better. We have our idea for how we want to run the news media." They split off from IGN in 2014. They hosted Podcast Beyond, if you know what that is. They hosted that, and they did their own thing, and they have been very successful at it, to say the least. They just celebrated 2 years, I think. They're pretty close to the same age. No, 3 years. Yeah, they're a year older than we are. But they've been very successful at it. They're basically a news media. They're the ones I watch a lot of the time. And I was debating whether I wanted to put this in here or not. But the reason I am is because in the Gamosphere vlog world, so the Kotakus, the IGNs, the GameSpots, everybody's talking about it. The reason being they're talking about it is there's a couple things that happened. So Colin Moriarty, if you don't know who he is the more conservative side of Kind of Funny. He tags himself as a conservative libertarian versus the other two or the other guys are more liberal. So I'm going to read because there's a little bit of controversy around why he's leaving. This is from Kotaku, from Jason Schreier, who actually was on Kind of Funny last week.
Interesting.
So he got interviewed by Colin last week. But basically what happened was, effective immediately, he's leaving Kind of Funny because of different visions. I just showed you the clip with Greg Miller in the morning show saying we're just kind of going this. And it's true. You could see it as somebody who watches them every day. You can kind of see the tension building. They're really good at hiding it on camera to a certain extent of like, I mean, we have our moments off camera of like we disagree with things, but when we're on camera, it's like cool. We're here, we're
I don't
happy.
think we disagree on that much.
No, but we do have things that we disagree
Except
on.
for the thing I just disagree with you on.
Yeah, see.
But yeah, I mean, obviously
But
we
when you talk business, there's always going to be something. Everybody's going to have different ideas, which is why things work out and why things don't work out.
and we had
sometimes.
mentioned this before we went live, but I mean, we, as you may be well aware, had a similar sort of scenario with when we had Jordan on the team, and Jordan had kind of a certain, I guess, idealistic way of how he wanted the channel to go, and Keegan was a little different and I was a little different again, so it came to the point where we had an amicable split, and you'll remember that. And of course that doesn't mean anything for our team, just the same as it appears watching the video that that Colin and the rest of the guys at Kind of Funny are still definitely amicable.
It's just business.
I mean, he even shows up in the video where they're like talking about him resigning as a janitor, which is kind of funny. No pun intended. And yeah, so carry on anyway.
So I'm going to read this blurb from Mr. Schreier here. It's talking about how he's been with IGN. He's always been outspoken about his conservative political stances, making appearance on various political talk shows, including just this morning, as this has been written, the Glenn Beck radio show, which Glenn Beck is a big name. So it's very interesting that
Glenn Beck is a pretty big person in that world. He is again, also a controversial figure.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, Glenn Beck used to be kind of considered to be batshit crazy for some time, and he would kind of
I know
make up conspiracy theories and stuff, and he'd have like he'd get like glasses on a little pointer stick, and he'd be like, this is why Obama's the devil or whatever, and then he kind of had this weird spiritual awakening where at a certain point he kind of realized that a lot of his vitriol and a lot of his rhetoric was causing there to be a bigger divide in the country than perhaps he would have liked, and he made a lot of apologies. And right about now, the last couple things I've ever heard from Glenn Beck, I've agreed with. So it's a weird upside down world that we live in. But yeah, he was on the show with Glenn Beck. So
continue on. Many Kind of Funny fans, Moriarty's politics have always seemed at odds with the rest of the group, whose other members skew liberal. Moriarty has often battled with the other Kind of Funny co-founders over various political issues. Last week, on International Women's Day, Moriarty tweeted a crummy, poorly targeted joke and quote, peace and quiet, hashtag a day without a woman, end quote. He goes on and continues, quote, she's actually in bed next to me and thinks my blatantly obvious joke is funny because not all people are humorless sacks of shit, LOL, end quote. So he's responding to somebody there. Unsurprisingly, these tweets have proved controversial, drawing fire from a number of Kind of Funny fans and outside observers. Later that day, Kind of Funny co-founder Greg Miller issued a statement apologizing and noting that Moriarty would no longer be appearing at PAX East in Boston this past weekend, and now Moriarty has left the group. Opportunities are popping up for Colin, left, right, and center. Continue on. Wish him the best.
I mean, for what it's worth, he is a solid games journalist.
Yes. So one of the things...
And there was a shitty joke.
Yes.
I'm not a humorless guy. I can appreciate a good, poorly made joke. I think that the climate we're in is a little risky for something like that.
So one of the things, and as I watch pretty much everything Kind of Funny does, I'm going to say that now, kind of preface this that way. I am a Kind of Funny fan. One of the things Colin does really well, and one of the things I try to, as watching him and learning kind of what he does, was not being afraid to express your opinion that's opposite to somebody else or challenge somebody on their opinion. Say what you will about your opinion of him or his views or whatever it may be. He was really good at being that kind of, I told you earlier, that balance to
Devil's
Greg
advocate.
and to Tim of saying, hey, what about this? And just to make you think of the other side of the argument. So I'm as a fan, I'm kind of concerned for Kind of Funny because
the show suffers for that.
Yeah, the show, as Greg Miller, it's gonna change the foundation of Kind of Funny. Hopefully not too much, but it will change it because he's been there since the beginning. He's a co-founder. So we'll see what it holds in the future here. But Colin is leaving Kind of Funny. Kind of sucks.
Kind of sucks.
But I'm waiting to see what he does in the future.
Kind of sucks. Kind of get it.
Yeah.
One of those.
So moving on to more, I guess, game related stuff, hardware related stuff. Switch sales. Do you know that Switch has nearly met its first month goal, and it still has 2 weeks. First month goal is 2 million units sold. It has currently sold 1.5 million units.
That's close.
I hear music. That was weird. I want to make sure the recording's still going. Sorry. That video started playing. According to GameSpot here, which is why you heard some music. It was counting down 3, 2, 1. The report from SuperData via Games Industry states that 500,000 consoles were sold in the US, 360,000 units shift. I'm assuming that shipped, not shifted, in Japan. Europe apparently isn't far behind. The only numbers for sale monitor reports for Europe is that France saw 110,000, UK saw 85,000. Nintendo President Tatsuma Kimishima? I don't know.
Can we get him reading lessons?
Tatsuma said in October 2016.
It's not a fruit.
That's Tatsumi.
I thought you said Satsuma.
No, Tatsumi. Said in October 2016 he expects the Switch to ship 2 million units to stores, and that's important, to stores, not to consumers, by the end of March, with 1.5 million units sold to consumers.
They are getting a replenishment.
That's a pretty good start. However, limited stock may scupper. That's a cool word. The console's momentum. Switch is its biggest launch ever. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild are currently facing limited availability worldwide.
Yeah, the last time I checked into it, and I happen to be quite good friends with the manager of our local GameStop.
I need to be friends with them too.
Yeah, she's a nice lady. And basically she informed me that, they do plan on getting in a bigger batch sometime in the next week or so. But as of right now, you can still go to their website. That's GameStop, and they do have a bundle on there. But the bundle is $600, but it's a lot of stuff that you might already want. So it's like it includes things like Legend of Zelda amongst many other things. But it is available right now. So as of recording this, so
yeah.
Hopefully, I think I'll definitely wait for the $300 one. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But
I think we're both. I think it's funny because we're both interested in the Switch. I think we're both going to get it at some point.
At some point, yeah. I'm still cautiously optimistic. That has not changed. I did tell her to let me know when it came in stock because I'm debating picking one up. But it's still a debate to me. It's still an internal debate, and there's a lot of good things coming out this year for PlayStation. So
that's the other thing. Then you have another thing to buy for.
So it's monies, yeah. So, but it'd be nice to have it for the channel.
It would be
that.
So moving on, PlayStation news. Speaking of PlayStation, PlayStation Now is finally getting PS4 games this year.
That's super exciting to me.
Do you think this is in response to the Xbox thing they did with the game?
Maybe.
Pass?
So the thing that PlayStation Now isn't doing very, very well is their pricing. Their pricing is
they
all
price themselves out
over
of
the damn place. And not only is it a little bit pricey in general, but also like the rental prices are fucking ridiculous. And it's just they haven't really found a nice niche for it yet. I would say if they start looking at it more like their review service and they start making it like
which they've been pushing a lot.
They have,
seen a lot more ads.
It's been doing okay. But if they make it so it's like a $10 a month, like get all these stuff, I guarantee you're going to get so many more people signing up for it. I would sign up for $10 a month. $20 a month is a push to me, especially when you can get better services like GameFly and stuff.
Do you think if they added PS1 and PS2 to that, it would be worth $20?
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Okay.
I think if it was PS1, PS2, PS3, and PS4, yeah, I might consider dropping $20 on that. Mostly just because of the sheer amount of PS2 era. But remember, we own those consoles. Yeah. So, a lot of them. So, for us, we can just go out and buy like a cheap, secondhand version of whatever from VStock.
Unless it's like a really expensive game. And that's where the advantage would come in.
Yeah, unless it's a really hard to find and or expensive game, but also you're relying on your internet connection there as well. So for people because I'm hardlining into my PS4 Pro, but if you're not hardlining in, then you may have some problems with the Wi-Fi. If you're, if you have a storm or whatever, then suddenly
or
half
just
of your game
live somewhere that has not a decent internet connection.
And also, it says it's going to start adding PS4 games. What are we expecting? Because it's been forever that they've actually put a fully fledged, I would say, double or triple A game on the PS Plus service. I mean, you have like Little Big Planet 3 was pretty big when they released that. Tearaway is still, to me, not even in that category. NBA 2K16 was pretty big, but again, that's a niche game for
and that
people
was
that like
also
basketball.
right before the new one came out.
Right. So there have been a couple, but there's a lot of like earlier games, things like Sherlock and Murdered Soul Suspect and Knack and Killzone, and games that have well run past their period of like their prime sales and would be a perfect prime target for PS Plus, but they didn't do that. So are they, instead of putting them on PS Plus, gonna put them on here and focus on like the newer indie titles for PS?
So here's some details about not having details. This is from VG247.com. I feel like I got to cite my sources because my
video games 24/7.
My English teacher would be proud of that one. Quote, PS Now is available on PS4 and PC. Soon the various subscription options will include PS4 games. So the question is, will they change their pricing to go up because of that? As well as existing PS3 games, Sony did not specifically say if PS4 games will be playable on PC. However, that would be cool if that is the case.
Would be neat.
It doesn't affect me at all, but that would be cool. The company has not yet named the initial batch of PS4 games to be added, but it did confirm that a private beta will be kicking off in the coming weeks, in quotes.
For people that are already using PS Now, it's important to point that out. So you're probably not going to get an invite if you're not.
Invites will be sent out to some current PS Now members. There's no official launch date for this edition at this stage, so it looks like it's still in the early days.
Yeah.
So it's exciting.
It's good news. I mean, I don't think there's anyone that's not going to be happy about that. I mean, it just depends on how it directly affects things like the pricing of the subscription and what we're talking about game-wise there. Is it just a bunch more PS4 indie games, or are we talking about putting some actual like ones that you would enjoy, like Killzone or Knack or what have you?
Gotcha. Next one. You ready?
Go for it.
This is going to be a controversial one.
Exciting.
No Man's Sky.
Ooh.
The game that made people real angry last year. Got an update on it. Recently got an update to its update.
This is a second update.
Yeah, got an update to its update. Well, it's got 3 updates now. So it had the Foundations update, which lets you do the home. It then had the Pathfinder update, which lets you do the cars, and then it had this one. This doesn't have a name, so it's like a smaller update, but it is a big small update. If that makes sense. It's not like it didn't add anything.
Keep talking. It
added stuff, but not that much. Let me find the specifics here. So here's the full patch notes from No Man's Skies 1.22. Exocraft geobays can now be crafted on any planet. This means vehicles can be summoned anywhere, whereas previously vehicles could only be summoned on your home planet.
That's cool.
HUD markers have been added to allow you to easily navigate back to the Exocraft geobay. That's important. And then fix bugs. So those 2 are the big reasons. So the Pathfinder update that came out, I want to say 2 or 3 weeks ago, added vehicles to the world so you can traverse the ground, which one of the complaints I had, as much as the complaint is of how not much there's going on in that game, was how slow it was to travel on a planet. So they fixed out the Pathfinder update. The fact that you can now go in and have bays on every planet, not just your home planet, is nice. Or have the bays to make the vehicles.
You know what I have to say about this, and it's not something that I say often, but I'd like to say that Hello Games, is it Hello Games?
Yeah, Hello Games.
They stuck with it, man, because
so the Pathfinder update and the Foundations update made me open the game. Granted, I don't play it because I have such a bad taste in my mouth.
Company would have
just moved on.
Yeah.
So do you think the reason is because this is the only game they have?
I don't know. I almost feel like they genuinely feel like they need to make things right.
Need to redeem themselves.
And here's the thing. I don't think No Man's Sky deserves half the crap that it gets. I had a good time playing that game.
We both had positive views.
Right. Like when we first checked that out, it was a whole lot of fun. And I think that was, we were like, unfortunately in a twilight phase when we played it, because we played it as a first bite impression. So we didn't really get chance to put enough time in to form a solid opinion. To
then get to the repeat of everything.
Right. So it's definitely just nice to see that they're like, okay, so we have this foundation of what is potentially a spectacular game, but we just need to tweak it.
It felt like an early access game. And I think this is them putting they had the bones there. This is them putting hopefully the meat on the bones. It's them making it an
indie game again instead of pretending it's something it's not when they were putting it out. And to be fair, it was more Sony's fault.
I think they did deserve some of the crap they got for the launch because of some of the things they did promise. As I've gone back and looked over, I've defended them for a while because I don't think No Man's Sky is a bad game. No. I think the marketing was horrible for that game.
Well, no, the marketing was good. It was just marketing the wrong thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Everyone knew it was coming out. It was just not the way you expected it to.
Yeah. So I think No Man's Sky is a decent game, and after these last 2 updates, I would recommend going back and looking. The base building was kind of cool. It reminded me of like Subnautica in space, which was kind of cool because I love those type of games.
I would love to say this. I think there's one surefire way to save that game from oblivion, and aside from like continually tweaking it, which will take them a long time, but I think the surefire way to save that game from oblivion is to make it VR. I think if they could patch in VR,
which was a rumor
like Dirt Rally did,
yeah,
then you would see the player base for that game increase massively. If you can think about like the idea behind it and the fact that you're in this like limitless, like, you know, place, if you could somehow make that like your Resident Evil quality VR experience where you just get to go wherever you want to, do whatever you want to, and experience it like you're actually there and actually like seeing these weird like creatures and stuff,
because it moves slow enough that you could,
right? And I think that that would be the saving grace for that game. I think that I would definitely start playing that game on a regular basis if that could happen, and we know it's possible. It's been done, so there's no excuses really, except for perhaps the lack of money you now have from
inside the team.
Yeah.
So last piece of news for this week is Rocket League, the one we tout a lot. I love Rocket League personally, is getting another update. Car soccer. Well, it's car soccer, car basketball, car hockey. Now it's going to be car soccer with breakable floors and electrified balls.
Oh.
So Rocket League.
Gotta love those electrified balls.
Again, this is from VG 24/7. Quote, Rocket League developer Psyonix has announced Drop Shot, a new mode coming to Rocket League on March 22nd. So that's next week.
And that just involves the floors breaking away? Or?
If I finish it,
yeah, sorry.
Drop Shot is a take on volleyball, where the object is to destroy the floor panels on the opposing team's side by dropping the ball into them. The mode comes with new arena Core 707. The entire field is made up of small hexagons that you have to destroy in order to score. Each panel needs 2 hits to break. For this reason, the game will record a new stat, damage. The ball is also different in Drop Shot, featuring 3 phases. The more it stays off the ground, the more powerful it becomes. There's a trailer above, if you want to look. Does a good job of showing how the mode will play out. When Drop Shot goes live on March 22nd, it will do so in a patch that'll bring a new achievements, cosmetics, a new skill tier hierarchy, and more. This also brings an end to the 3rd season's competitive play.
Wow.
So I'm excited about this.
That's a team that have been supporting
Psionic
their
has
game
been crushing it.
Yeah.
When it comes to so I can't remember if it was you or who I was talking with. Might have been somebody else, but I was like, Rocket League they gave away their game for free when it launched, which is a scary thing to do.
Big move.
I don't know the ins and outs, obviously, of how that all works with PlayStation and how they pay them for that. Like they have to get some sort of kickback to be able to do that because they got to pay their bills. But
it was a smart move.
It was a smart move, but they also got smarter by doing DLC and doing it right. So
they've also making it temporary that it was free, because if they'd have made it permanently free, then I think they would have definitely lost hype. But I think that initial it was like that initial fan base got so rabid so
we gave
quickly.
one away because they loved the game so much.
Right. That had other people that were like, oh, it's really that fun? And I'll drop $20.
And it's one of the few games that, again, I got it for free. I got it on PS Plus like a lot of people did, but I've put money into that DLC. I probably paid over the $20 in DLC because 2 reasons. One, they do it right where it's cars and cosmetics. They do that kind of thing where they
don't deny you game modes.
Yes. The game modes are free to download. The arenas are free to download. All that is free to download. This is free too,
right? Drop Shot
is free. It's coming in a patch, so it's free. Versus DLC is new cars like Batman, Superman, Batman versus Superman. They did the Batmobile. It's kind of cool. Which when you have that, it's awesome. It's doesn't take anything away from the game, but
it's not a faster car.
Yeah, 2 reasons you do it is you want to support the developer, and they're cool looking. Like they did the Hot Wheels update recently where they released some Hot Wheels cars. I was like, I want to buy that because I remember playing Hot Wheels as a kid.
Yeah.
Like,
it has a wonderful community, Rocket League, and the people that are really good at it are really good at it.
Yeah, I've watched some
which is kind of
crazy people.
Kind of interesting. All right, so that brings an end to the news segment of Bargain Basement, which means we're going to be moving on to our next segment, all about Xbox sales.
It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level.